May 2025 promises to be a momentous month for Taurus, opening the door to financial independence and harmony in personal life. There are 6 days this month marked by unique astrological phenomena that seem to erase old boundaries and lead to tangible progress toward financial prosperity and personal happiness. Each of these days will bring special changes to Taurus, from transforming financial thinking to gaining power over the material and emotional spheres of life. So, on May 10th, when Mercury is in the sign of Taurus, there will be an activation of this sign. A powerful intellectual impulse, aimed at achieving prosperity, will launch a kind of thinking mechanism focused on financial well-being. Taurus thinking will begin to switch from survival mode to an active search for new, non-standard opportunities. It is on this day that the fracture in the established scenario, which may have previously limited financial horizons, will begin. Representatives of the sign of Taurus are experiencing a period of liberation from oppressive thoughts of financial difficulties and fear of poverty. There comes the realization that outdated beliefs are hindering their development, and there is a willingness to change their thinking for the sake of achieving material well-being in the future. Mercury exerts its influence during this period, helping to erase 5 common stereotypes that have prevented Taurus from realizing their wealth potential. First, many Taurus are unfortunately convinced that small things are enough for them and that achieving great wealth is not for them. This limiting belief prevents them from setting ambitious goals and striving for more. Second, the fear of risk makes Taurus cling to familiar stability, refusing new opportunities to increase income. They prefer familiar, albeit not the most lucrative work, rather than trying something new and potentially more lucrative. Third, inertia manifests itself, a tendency to postpone important financial decisions or necessary changes, even when their necessity becomes obvious. Taurus may hesitate for a long time before deciding to take actions that could improve their financial situation. Fourth, conservatism manifests itself in the reluctance to explore new ways of earning money, even if they seem promising. Taurus prefer proven methods, not always ready for experimentation and innovation in finance. Finally, some Taurus have an underlying negative attitude towards wealth. This can be a sense of guilt for striving for great wealth or even shame that they might become rich. Under the influence of the celestial messenger Mercury, ingrained prejudices lose their power over minds. Rational and objective view of the surrounding reality, characteristic of this time, decisively displaces the former fears and frameworks. In place of hesitation and deterrence in Taurus are born clear ideas about how to strengthen their financial situation. In these auspicious days there is an opportunity to rethink the personal financial plan, to discover new ways to make a profit or to think about improving professional skills. Thus, May 10th marks the beginning of a radical mental transformation. On May 18, 2025, a significant aspect is forming, a tense square between the planets, with Jupiter playing a key role. This aspect provides a unique opportunity to break free from the burdensome societal tenets that inhibit progress. Taurus comes to the realization that certain established truths have been accepted by him without proper critical evaluation and are, in fact, constricting his freedom. Thanks to this sudden insight, Taurus gets out of the net of moral delusions and stops blindly following the imposed rules. Awakens his own will. Having thrown off the shackles of other people's influence, Taurus feels the power to make his own way in life. It is time to reevaluate the previous, perhaps vague or imposed from the outside goals, and the rejection of pipe dreams. They are replaced by clear and realistic benchmarks, consonant with personal abilities and true desires. An equally important aspect is the gradual release of old emotional wounds, which occurs in parallel with these changes. Freed from the burden of societal expectations and imposed ideals, Taurus feels the inner tension gradually subsides. Long-standing resentments associated with nonconformity to other people's standards, and bitterness of past failures recede, giving way to a sense of relief and long-awaited peace. Self-confidence returns, reinforced by a sense of inner freedom, which has a beneficial effect on the emotional state. May 20th, when the Sun moves into the sign of Gemini, for Taurus begins a new chapter in the financial sphere. This astrological moment marks the beginning of a period of monetary good fortune. Circumstances are favorable to improve the financial situation. The first tangible advances in financial affairs are likely, such as unexpected additional income or a tempting offer that opens up new prospects. Astrological forecast predicts Taurus period of significant financial gains, information about which it is desirable to keep secret. Coming not just a change in external circumstances, but a real transformation of thinking. Under the influence of the energy of the sign of Gemini, Taurus consciousness gains unprecedented flexibility and the ability to innovate. Plans that previously seemed too audacious and risky, now analyzed from the position of practicality and realism. Intuition reaches the peak of its acuity. Prophetic dreams can open the keys to solving pressing problems and indicate the right direction. Simultaneously with internal changes, transformed in the behavior of Taurus. Under the rays of the sun, they become more confident, and sometimes even brave. If earlier doubts restrained their actions, now they feel a surge of courage and readiness for decisive steps. The influence of Gemini brings a rational approach to financial management. Taurus begin to carefully plan their budget, compare income and expenses, but at the same time get rid of excessive thrift. A harmonious combination of courage and reasonable calculation becomes a solid foundation for future financial triumphs. On May 24, 2025, Saturn will enter Taurus, symbolizing the end of the obstacle course and the beginning of a new phase in life. Saturn, the planet associated with overcoming difficulties and strengthening positions, will bring with it changes aimed at achieving material stability. Income uncertainty and austerity will be a thing of the past. Taurus' financial situation will become more secure, and income will become regular. The feeling of constant lack of money will gradually disappear, and others will be amazed at such a striking change. Taurus, even recently faced with difficulties, will demonstrate confidence and stability. Close people will be pleasantly surprised at how quickly Taurus wealth and inner strength are growing. However, the acquired stability is not an accident, but a natural outcome of internal changes. First of all, Taurus is helped by the accumulated experience. The difficulties of the past years have become valuable lessons, thanks to which he now avoids making the same mistakes. Secondly, Taurus decisively throws away the burden of excessive sacrifice, freeing himself from the habit of putting other people's needs above his own. This marks a long-awaited turn to himself. Third, he triumphantly embraces his willpower, realizing that he is the architect of his destiny and takes full responsibility for the course of events. Instead of passively waiting for change, Taurus energetically sets about realizing it. This triple union, reinforced by the influence of Saturn, known for its discipline, is the catalyst for rapid and impressive progress. From May 25, Mercury, the planet of communication and intelligence, enters Gemini, which has a noticeable impact on Taurus' personal life. The relationship sphere receives a strong impetus to change and gain clarity. Conversations about love become more decisive and frank, as if the veil of reticence falls. Taurus with a new look rethinks his connections, clearly defining what is valuable to him in the partnership and what compromises can be safely abandoned. The very perception of relationships undergoes a transformation. Now they are evaluated not by inertia or established scenarios, but on the basis of the real value of mutual respect and support. This transformation is especially pronounced for Taurus women. Previously, some of them could tolerate disrespect from their partner, but now a Taurus woman clearly delineates the boundaries of what is acceptable and decisively declares her rights and needs. The woman firmly and openly expresses her desires, not allowing a dismissive attitude to them. In a situation of lack of mutual respect in the relationship, she would prefer to stop them, rather than compromise his sense of self-worth. In Taurus men there is a noticeable change, manifested in the strengthening of their reliability and loyalty, which leads to a reduction in cases of cheating. Those of them who previously avoided serious commitments now realize the importance of constancy. Men of this sign become more responsible and reliable life companions. It is important to note their willingness to put effort into relationships and remain faithful. Love relationships for Taurus turn into a factor of stability, rather than a source of worry. An orderly relationship or a final break with a destructive connection leads to emotional balance, having a positive impact on other aspects of life. Harmonious relationships enhance a sense of security and increase confidence in affairs. May 25 marks the consolidation of these changes. From this point on, clarity, determination, and mutual respect reign in Taurus love life. On May 30, Jupiter makes a rare biquintile aspect to Pluto, and its influence completes Taurus' chain of transformation. In astrological science, a biquintile, a 144-degree angle, is a harmonious yet powerful aspect belonging to the family of quintile aspects. Angles of 72, 144 and 216 degrees symbolize the manifestation of talent, originality of thinking and hidden reserves, as well as deep inner revelations. This is no mere coincidence. A biquintile aspect opens the way to a deeper understanding of oneself and the world around us, especially when it involves such significant planets as Jupiter, the personification of growth, wisdom and philosophical reflection, and Pluto, the planet of transformation, power and purification. The configuration of Jupiter in biquintile to Pluto on May 30 is the high point of the month, and carries a number of important meanings. First, hidden motives and inner motivations become clearer. One begins to realize the true reasons for one's failures in the financial and emotional spheres, both external and internal. Second, strength is gained through distancing oneself from people who have a destructive influence. There is no longer a need to tolerate toxic relationships, whether in one's personal life, business, or family. Third, there is a building of authority and self-confidence. A person under the influence of the sign of Taurus begins to control the situation, not by adjusting to other people's rules, but by setting his own terms. The fourth important aspect is a sudden increase in intuition and strategic thinking, especially in areas related to finance, power, influence, inheritance, or money management. Taurus finally gives up trying to conform to other people's demands and expectations, preferring to live exclusively by their own rules. Representatives of this zodiac sign feel an inner freedom that allows them to be themselves. There is no longer a need to look at the opinion of others, as decisions are made based solely on personal values and goals. Control over their own lives is fully back in the hands of Taurus. As a result, Taurus gains the ability to truly control their destiny, both materially and psychologically. They are in complete control of the situation, which allows them to move forward with confidence. So, dear Taurus, the 6 key days of May this year form a single chain of positive transformations in your life. Gradually, starting with the revision of financial thinking and ending with the purification of the environment, you are consistently freeing yourself from the limitations of the past and moving to a qualitatively new level of existence. By the end of the month, you are approaching a new reality characterized by material security, emotional stability, and unshakable self-confidence. The past trials and difficulties are in the past, giving way to a feeling of fullness of life, when you can confidently talk about the achieved success and true happiness.